an urgent demand for equality and excellence in education.
To the call for new and extended independent African American initiatives in education. To the need to redress prior deprivations caused by slavery, segregation, racism, and poverty.
We pledge our commitment to do what is necessary for ourselves, as we understand that some things we must do for ourselves.
We, the benefactors of many who shed blood and life years to bring us to this point, are grateful for our heritage and this opportunity to go forward with the unfinished legacy. We dedicate ourselves to the education and service of African American children and educators throughout the nation.
Get you ready. All right. You might be seated. Thank you. All right. I want to thank you guys for coming out. I know coming off of spring break to have the second day back where you're jumping into business means a lot. That means that your dedication to children is evident and it is everlasting. So we thank you for that. We are now on lots of people like to refer to this as the downward swing. But really this to me is the going up to the top of the roller coaster moment, because we have been preparing, we have been growing, we've been putting things in place. And so now we're about to hit where we're going to have the peak. So this isn't the time where we can rely on the momentum of a downward draft to take us. We have to keep plugging on and keep pushing and keep putting hand over hand, foot over foot to keep moving up. So know that your presence here is appreciated and you are welcome.
Hi, I'm Angela Daniels, and the minutes have been provided to you for January the 15th, 2019, our last meeting that was held at Naaman Forest High School. Please take some time to review. Are there any corrections? I move to accept the minutes as presented, as is. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It has been properly moved and seconded to accept the minutes.
Okay. I'm Rhonda Williams, and I am the treasurer for GAABSE, and I will be giving you a financial report for March the 19th, 2019. On our last meeting, January the 15th, 2019, we had a balance of $12,568.98. Since then, we've had a total income of $902.50. We have had expenses in the amount of $6,630.69. Some of the highlights would include our catering deposit for our gala, decorations for the gala, as well as a professional development that we will be discussing in the future. So that with income and expenditures, GAABSE total account balance is $6,882.46. I would like to make note of the John W. Washington Scholarship Fund at $1,693.74. We've had all students to collect on their scholarship for this past year. Is there a motion to accept the financial report for audit?
I move that we accept the financial report.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
My motivational moment, can I just say this? Thinking about T5, I totally forgot about this motivational moment, but I am a person that can make it happen, and so I'm gonna make it happen. Motivational moment, I think that right now, in lieu of, we're kind of at that moment, at that peak in time of the school year where it's testing, whether it be STAR testing, AP testing, telepass testing, all of that. I think that when it comes to our students or the staff and the people we're around, we really want to start looking at our cup as half full versus half empty. And the reason why I'm saying that is I have to definitely do that right now. So I'm encouraging everyone to look at their cup as half full versus half empty. And then always when you walk into a building, regardless of who that person is, if you know them or not, wear a smile. That smile can brighten someone's day. We have a lot of people that are dealing with death, that are dealing with sickness, that are dealing with emotional issues, students, everything. And so when I'm speaking about that, I'm not just speaking about adults, I'm also speaking about the students. Because one of the things, and I want to, where my little booklet at? Oh yeah. So one of the things, and I was going to say this for TPI, but I'm going to actually, when I was discussing TPI, I'm going to say it now. At TPI, they were talking about dropouts and how we always want to focus on kids when they're dropping out in 8th grade, when they're dropping out of school in high school. But one of the things that was said is dropout doesn't start in 8th grade. It starts when the kids walk through the door. Because when we automatically say this kid is a behavior issue, or we saying that they're not doing this or they're not doing that, from the time they walk in a kindergarten or pre-K, we're kind of predestined them to be a dropout. So I encourage us to wear a smile, to look at the cup as half full versus half empty. When our kids come in our classrooms, regardless of what the situation is, because Lord knows that we probably have been through things that people that we rub shoulders with on a day-to-day basis do not know, but our kids don't know it either. And they have been through things that we couldn't even fathom. And with that being said, we really, during this time, during that peak time that Stacia was talking about, we got to keep trucking. We got to keep pushing along, because if we stop, we're, just kind of creating that predestination of our young brown, black and brown babies that are coming through the doors of GISD. And we're kind of saying, you know what, go ahead and be a dropout. But we don't want that. We want to go ahead and set the bar, set the stage for our kids to be successful. And not only our kids, but our teachers and other people on staff. So that is my motivational. Stephen, I was like, what? Well, amen. Well, hello. I'm going to briefly talk about TPI. I'm going to give myself a timer because I can sometimes get long-winded. But myself and Danielle Reddick, unfortunately she's not able to be here tonight. We both attended TPI in Austin back in February. And Stacia, we go to the next slide. And so I'm just going to give a brief overview of TPI and what it is. Give myself a little 5-minute time, maybe 7 minutes. So TPI stands for the Texas Education Policy Institute. And I'm not going to read, what it says verbatim. I'll allow you guys to look at that. But pretty much TPI was started with the vision of some things that TAPSE had started, but it was come under the umbrella of the Big Three from 2 years ago from Dr. McLeod. And so one of the things that TAPSE, which is, we're an affiliate of TAPSE, wanted to be sure that we're not just saying the things we want to do, but we're being intentional, and we're actually doing, we're basically talking the talk and walking the walk. And so anyone that wants to be a part of TPI is able to be a part of TPI with being a TPI fellow. And the fellows are members, are people who desire. You have to go through a certain criteria, and there's a lot, because I was going to do it last year, and I was like, well, it's a lot. But it's a lot. It's a lot of work, but it is great, because what we're doing is we're taking a seat at the table. And one of the things that Dr. McLeod always says is, take a seat at the table better than just being on the menu. And I think it's very important that we understand. And I would say, as a teacher, we don't really, I didn't realize a lot of the things that go into play legislatively until I started kind of understanding, and especially when I went to TPI this past February. Stacia, will you go to the next slide? So I was very excited once I left TPI. It was a lot of information. Oh my gosh, I was information overload, but it was so great. So I'm just gonna kind of go over this information. One of the things that Dr. McLeod said was stop waiting on things to happen to us, but make things happen for us. And so that's pretty much why I'm gonna say why one of the reasons why TPI was even created, so that we could actually have a voice in the thing and the bills and the things that are being given or proposed in our state, and especially the bills that are proposed in the state that are affecting our Black and brown babies. One of the things that, and I'm going to show you this booklet. I have a copy of 2 of them. They found my little purse. I'm sorry, I should have had this out. Yeah, 2 booklets. So here is a book. I'm sorry. To the booklet that TABSE actually created, and I'll just, if you went to TABSE, you have it. But if you didn't go to TABSE or you didn't attend TPI, you probably aren't savvy to this booklet. But the booklet is a research book, and it kind of stems from research that was done by NAPSE 35 years ago, and that's the name of the article that was done. And then also this year marks the 65th anniversary of Brown versus Board of Education. And with Brown versus Board of Education, just because you're an educator, I mean, you really know all the underlying factors of Brown versus Board of Education. And so if you take the time, you can look at that booklet. It is so much information, great research. It is a blessing to be a part of GAABSE. And I wish that more people were here at this meeting to actually see or hear or at TPI to see all of the wonderful things that TABSE is doing to benefit our children in the state. So one of the first things we did was TABSE advocacy priorities. And so it's one of the things to say, oh, we're going to do something, but we actually at that point right then we created the priorities. So we said as a group, we defined what we felt were priorities. We prioritize them as a group and we categorize them. And we categorize them as a large group and kind of define those things that TABSE would go forth and continue to do as far as what we'll be doing to lobby in the legislative year this year. Aisha Davis was a person that spoke at TPI. I don't know if you know who Aisha Davis is, but she was previously a teacher, but now she was a first-year fellow of TPI last year, but now she ran for office of the 13th district, and she is now a representative of the State Board of Education. And so that just goes to show you what TABSE is doing to make sure we're sitting at the table to make these differences in the lives of our kids. Next person that presented was Ashley Turner. She's a representative from the Houston area, but she gave some great background as far as what we need to do as a district and as organization affiliates in our district to make sure we're making those changes. I'm going to go straight to number 3. Number 3 says be visible, be heard, and reach out regular to TEA. One of the things that Aisha and Ashley said that a lot of times all these bills are passed and people moan and groan about the bills, but no one's there to lobby and to speak to the people in the legislature. So I think it's very important that, us to get together, get the forces together and hold each other accountable and start really trying to do the things that are going to benefit our babies. Next, there were TPI Fellows presentations. So the current TPI Fellows, I could not think of all their names. I believe it's 6 people. And they each had presentations of the things that they are privy to and that they're focusing on. Stacia, will you go to the next slide? It's the last slide. Next is Commissioner Mike Morath. He spoke as well. He spoke about the state's focus, and I thought that was very good and very beneficial. One of the things he spoke about was disproportionality, implementation framework for restorative practices. With speaking about that, he had a Q&A session as well, and people were asking, how do we know that restorative practices are working? And so one of the things that the state is trying to do is trying to create, a checks and balances system, because there is, there is data to show that it does work, but people need to see it in full circle. Principal certification, I think that was big. He said the certification is changing. So for people who want to go into administration, he said it's going to be harder for you to get to be a principal. The test, they're making it more, I guess you could say, rigorous. The state is really they're pushing pre-K and dual language because they feel that, and it's a known fact that with dual language, especially starting dual language in the elementary level, it improves grade levels for African American, and not just African American, but Black and Brown students. It's my time, but I'm almost done. 7 minutes, not bad. Next to couple of things he talked about was accountability framework, closing the achievement gaps. The TAPR report was the Texas. I can't think of that. Yes, Texas Academic Progress Reports. That's what it is. And then also number 8, which is kind of what I tied into the motivational moment about dropouts to start in 8th grade. Next, we were able to have, it was a panel discussion with Senator Royce West, Senator Whitmire, and Representative Dutton. I can't even explain how impactful that was because they were sitting there and they were being very straightforward with everything. And one of the main things that they said, and they kept saying, is we have to be active in what we're trying to see change. We can talk about it all day long, but we have to be active to see those changes made. And we can't just be active on the state level. We have to be active in the local level. So in any election that's happening, things that are affecting our kids in our district, we need to be sure that we are going to the school board meetings, that we're being a face for GAABSE and for TAPSE. And one of the charges for every member within every affiliate of TAPSE is work to be one strong group, tap into the talent into our district. Even in GAABSE, although right now we're small in numbers, but even with this small group, I can tell you right now, everybody in this room is a force to be reckoned with. So it's not necessarily the numbers, but it's the talent that we have in this room, in our organization. And I'm just hoping that we'll continue, because we've definitely made some strides, but I'm hoping and praying that we'll continue to make those strides to really and truly make a difference in the things that we see. Because as far as disproportionality, when myself, Angela, Babetta, and Stacia were doing all that research and trying to do the things for disproportionality, when we did those presentations, for me, really first seeing it, it was very disheartening because, hey, as a mother, you're raising Black and brown kids, you're raising your babies, and you don't want them to be a part of the system. And so it's like, okay, we have to do something. And so I charge everyone to let your voice be heard, and let's definitely work together to make a difference. Any questions? All right, great.
Old business. As you can see, we had our TAPSE conference and we're going to do a recap of that. One thing that we talked about at the last meeting was that we were going to have officer nominations and elections this meeting. We have our gala that will be coming up April 6th and our youth summit. Look, y'all like that walk around the room says, look, it's not me next. Nope, it's not me. Nope. Good evening again. Our last week, the Diamonds and Pearls young ladies meet the first Monday of every month. And so for the month of March, it was your just health and wellness. So our nurse, the nurse from Laos Middle School came out, Nurse Shorter, talked to the girls for over an hour. They had a ton of questions. And Nurse Shorter specifically focuses on women's health. So the girls had a ton of questions. She was very thorough with them about things to look out for in their health and just self-care. Because just like Ms. Twitty spoke about earlier, just like we're stressed during this testing season, so are students. And so she talked to them just about how to handle the pressure and how to take care of themselves. And they were able to get little goodie bags. So with some toiletry items, they had lotions and deodorant and feminine products and things of that nature. So overall, we had about 45 girls. So it just keeps growing. So
Next month is gonna be kind of a check-in.
Yeah.
Yeah, more of a check-in. So at the very beginning of the school year, the girls set goals for themselves. They had journals. We created journals together, and the goal was for them to write in their journals and, set academic and personal goals for themselves. So next month will just kind of be a check-in to see where they are. So we have someone coming to do yoga meditation, just to help them get through this testing season. So, but it's great. And anyone is welcome. Anyone in the membership is welcome to come out. The girls like to see, you there and to support them. And so at the end of the year, we would love to see, for those who went to TAPSE, we did a Dining with Divas. So we would like to do a Dining with Diamonds. So that would be the culmination of this school year. So anyone that would like to come out and join us or sponsor one of our ladies, because we kind of want them to dress up, but not everybody has the financial means to do so. So if you're interested in helping us out, let us know. Thank you.
All right. So everyone should have a ticket. If you don't have a ticket, raise your hand. Get you a ticket. Everybody got their ticket. So everyone likes a good little raffle. We like to get stuff, right? Yes. All right, so look at your tickets. If I call your ticket, on the back row, we have an array of prizes for you to choose from. Everyone likes a good work bag, so if I had the bag, I would have it for you to see, but there's a wonderful array back there for you to choose. There's a water bottle, just cute little fun things, okay? Oh, look, you wanted to win first, so here we go. This is number 182496. 496. There you look at that. Just came. You were ready.
Just in time.
They're all on the back row. Choices. We've got TAPSE, we've got GAABSE, we've got NAPSE prizes for you. Wonderful. All right, here goes another one. All right, so the first two numbers are the same, the 182. So we're looking at the last three, 495. 495. There you go. Yay! What was that? Choose whatever you like. Choose whatever you like. All right. I'm going to do another one. Here we go. 182501. 501. There we go. Miss Montgomery is our next winner. Okay. That'll wake you up a little bit, huh? Yes. Okay. So I'm going to do some more after I go through some new business. So, excuse me, for TAPSE, quite a few of our members were able to go. We are one of the few fortunate, I want to use the microphone. All right. Yeah. We are one of the few affiliates who are fortunate enough to have the support of our district. So GISD sponsored 30 GAABSE members to attend TAPSE, and that is unheard of. So yay, and thank you to our district for that. We have the support of the superintendent. We have the support of our board of trustees. So I want you guys to know that I know sometimes it might feel like, oh, well, I'm just a part of this small engine that's not really seen as a powerhouse in the district, but that is not the case because we always put money behind things that we believe in, right? So they paid some money for us to be active in TAPSE. So there's a strong belief in all that we learn and do in TAPSE. So I charge each and every one of us to make sure that the district knows that their investment was well worth it as we continue to push and work to GAABSE. So we will have a recap with a video. You ready? Do we have to have something connected for the sound? Well,
So we're just gonna watch it because the sound doesn't. Yeah.
Sound isn't working, yeah.
Let's talk through.
School member. Yeah. There's our board. Look at them. It's Gala time. Affiliate night. Check out our shirts. Aren't they nice? You can have one for the right price. Presenting. Goes Forte. Oh. McLean. It's maybe more fast. Okay. Boom. Celebrate. There's Dr. McLeod. GAABSE's in the house. There we go. Get recognized. There's Phyllis. Who's that? Who's that? Who's that? We got it. You'll be there next time.
thank you for leveling up. All right, thank you, Ebony. That was a great video. Thank you very much. Okay, so something else that I want everyone to be aware of, they already have out the call for proposals for 2020. So if you look here at the bottom, there's a bit.ly. There, GAABSE Present 2020. So you can go ahead and submit your proposal to be a presenter at GAABSE 2020. GAABSE Present 2020. Okay. All right. Y'all ready for some more? Here we go. 499. 499. It's got to be somebody. I know the room is packed with lots of people and it's hard. Somebody don't want to say I'm the winner. It's not like the bingo hall where the blue haired lady's gonna come and get you if you call out bingo too early. Come on. No, 502. There we go, yay! We got a winner. All right, here goes another one. Winner, chicken dinner. All right, another one. 504. 504. There's Phyllis. All right. So now it's time for us to move into nominations and elections. Nominations and elections. So I want to make sure that everyone understands each GAABSE term is for 2 years. No one can have the same office for 2 consecutive terms. Someone can run for a position and then finish that term and run for a different position. Or someone can have a position, finish one term, run for an additional term. We voted at the very beginning of this year to have certain positions to stagger so that we don't have an entire board coming off and a whole new board coming on like we had when we came on, okay? So that was fun. All right, so for this term, we have president, vice president, treasurer, and corresponding secretary. So we have those 4 roles that are up for election, okay? Now, we have vice president. It shouldn't be president and vice president together, but it is because our vice president is vacating office at the end of this term. So normally the president and vice president would be opposite, Okay, so taking on vice president, I do want you to be aware that that would put you in a 3-year term. Just want to make sure we understand that, because vice president wouldn't normally be elected now. Is it making sense, right, Phyllis? Okay. Okay, great. So with the nominations, you can nominate someone who is present, you can nominate someone who is not present, because we know that there's people that have work conflicts, schedules, coaching, whatever it might be, okay? Any nominations that we take in, we will contact that person, make sure that they're accepting of the nomination. We'll also check in with our treasurer and financial secretary to make sure that they are financial in GAABSE. So far, we understand? Great. All right, so I just want to make sure I made my spiel first. I'm going to now pass it over to our parliamentarian who's going to lead these proceedings. Are there any questions for me before I take my seat? Fabulous. All right.
Hello. Okay. So I've been studying my Robert's Rules of Order so badly.
So for this session, we will be taking nominations from the floor. So would someone like to make a motion to open nomination? Open? Okay. And a second?
I said, second.
So it's been moved and properly second to open nominations for the role of president, vice president, treasurer, and correspondence secretary.
Are we gonna do it in order or?
We'll do it. Start with president. We'll start with
Carry the motion, all in favor?
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Yeah. Okay, we'll start with taking nominations for the role of president. Yes,
I nominate Rhonda Williams.
okay. Okay. Additional nominees for president? Additional nominees for president? So we have Rhonda Williams for president?
Second.
So right now, we have one nomination on the floor. The floor is open for any additional nominations. Are there any additional nominations? And I also should have said in the beginning, we are going to also open nominations electronically. So anyone who is not here and wants to make a nomination has that opportunity as well. So we'll have the floor nominations that are here, and then we'll have electronic nominations too. Okay? And know that we can have more than one. It's okay. So we'll do a call 3 times for the floor and then close and go to the next one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One last call for nominations for president. Come forward. Okay. So we'll close nomination for president. Okay, moving on. Okay, so the next position for nominees, we're taking nominees for vice president.
I nominate Terrell, Mr. Tillis. Mr. Tillis.
You don't have to second the motion. Per Robert's Rules of Order. Thank you. You're welcome. They're just nominations. Second call for nominations for vice president. Last call? Okay. We're gonna close the nominations for vice president and open nominations for the office of treasurer. Yes, ma'am.
I nominate Diane Shaw.
Shaw is nominated for the office of treasurer. Second call for nominations. Yes, ma'am.
Why, I lost her. Tara. What's her last name? Major, thank you.
Tara Majors for treasurer.
No, yes, yes, Major.
Just Major, nothing. Last call for nominations for treasurer. Okay. And finally, we're gonna open nominations for corresponding secretary. Yes, ma'am.
Nominate Shania Smith for the second term.
Shania Smith has been nominated for a second term. Second call for nominations for corresponding secretary. Yes, ma'am. Ms. Williams.
No, you can.
Tyra Clayton.
T-A-R-A.
T-Y.
Tyra.
Tyra Clayton, nominee for the office of corresponding secretary. Last call for the office of corresponding secretary. Okay, so we close the nominations for corresponding secretary. Okay, so now we would like to have a motion to close nominations altogether.
I move that we close nominations for officers.
From the floor. From the floor. Second. Okay, it has been, motion and properly second that we close nominations from the floor. All in favor, say aye. Aye. And all opposed? You will be receiving, you mean tell them that they're gonna get a ballot?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna send out, as our president stated, we will send out a ballot to all the members of GAABSE to vote on the officers.
Nominations.
I'll vote on the nominations, and then we're going to do our official vote for the next meeting. Yes?
Yes, yes, so digitally, a nomination form is going to be sent out. Elections will take place, what will be the return on the nominations, the return date on the nominations? And our next meeting is, this is March, April 9th. So we will have the floor open for elections at our April 9th meeting. So nominations will close about 2 weeks or so before that to confirm, yes, all these people. We'll have elections beginning April 9th at the general meeting. And then elections will be open because the new officers will be installed at our May general meeting. March 29th, we'll close nominations. Okay. So please, anyone that you know has expressed an interest and wasn't here, tell them to be sure to fill out the nomination form. Thank you very much. All right, ma'am, this is the time. I don't know how many of you are as excited about our gala as we are. The theme is Kentucky Derby. If you have not bought your hats, your seersucker, your bow tie, then go ahead and get that so you can be ready. Ms. Williams is going to give us an update on the gala and let us know all that we need to do. This is our biggest fundraiser of the year, and it's extremely important that we raise funds. One of the things that very proud that we've been able to do is extend our Diamonds and Pearls program. And in extending that, we have used general funds as well as received a grant from TABSE to make sure that those girls are engaged. We also have professional development for our members, and we have a youth summit. So all of these things are taxing on our general funds. So we have to really, really push ticket sales for the gala because this is our biggest fundraiser of the year. Okay? Rhonda Williams, let's go. Tell us.
All right, so guys, we will be having our annual
scholarship gala that benefits the John W. Washington Scholarship Fund for our students on April the 6th. And our theme is Derby Gala. And so if you haven't already gotten your gala hat, your derby hat, go ahead and do that. Gentlemen, get those bow ties out and those vests and blazers and all that thing, all those things that I know you already have in your closet, but I'm sure you ladies are gonna have to find some of these hats. Amazon is a great place. Under $30 for the hats and the fascinators, so hit them up. So we are going to have a guest speaker at our gala. Do you mind standing up for a moment and discussing that, Ebony?
Yes, yes. So we are gonna have Miss Mandy Price come speak to us. And if you haven't heard of Mandy Price, I'm not surprised because she operates in a world that a lot of us don't understand, which is the corporate America capital venture investment world. Now, you might say that's kind of boring, but actually it's not. This woman graduated top of her class from Harvard. She was at the law firm that I do believe was Obama's law firm in Washington, D.C., and she had a pivotal moment, one of those moments that we all have had as African-American women, and which caused her to launch a career. She was the first African-American woman to raise over $500,000, that's almost $1 billion, in her capital venture firm. She is on Forbes 40 Under 40. She was Dallas Lawyer of the Year. She was Texas Lawyer of the Year. And I can go on and on and on through her bio about all the awards that she's won. But she is a force to be reckoned with in the world that we don't normally see ourselves in. And so she's going to come and talk to us about what inspires her and what drives her and how she got where she got and how she rose to the top.
Okay, thank you. And if you've gone to one of our galas, you know that we're going to have a lot of fun. So we're going to have, this year, we're going to do a best dressed piece where, we're going to get to display what we have on. And so we're hoping to have some fun with that. And we are going to do our silent auction, which is always really great. So Ms. McAllister, I know you've been up here a lot, but can you stand up and kind of talk about the silent auction? Ms. McAllister is in charge of that and has been for the past couple of years.
If we would, the silent auction is fun. It's fun. But in order for the silent auction to work, we need items for the silent auction. So we ask that every school have at least one item represented, like one basket. So some schools have more, some schools have none. But this year we did a push. There's already been an email sent out to all of the principals asking for their school to either buy a table or to provide an item to be sold, to be auctioned off at the silent auction. So there's still time. It's not too late. We can come and pick it up from you. If you need us to come and pick it up, we take cash, we take items, we'll take the basket already put together. Whatever you have to donate, we will accept it. So for those of you who've attended the gala before, I feel like every year it just gets better. The items that we have get better. So if you know someone who would like to donate a service, maybe your stylist or your nail tech, or we take it all. So well, my email information.
Yes, Ebony, when the information went out, I think that our correspondence secretary is sending that out, the silent auction information, how you can get someone to pick it up. So I believe that that's going to go out soon. And Ebony has sent out things to all of the principals in the district, correct?
Yes, send an email to all principals in the district detailing individual tickets, tables, which, provide tables cheaper, and and also silent auction, detailing, what we're looking for and everything. And there's a nice little Google form, and all they have to do is fill it out and tell us that they're gonna give us something, and we'll get right back in touch with them and let them know how we'll be getting.
Okay. So tickets are $50. They're on Eventbrite. You can just Google it. It is GAABSE Derby Gala for Eventbrite, and it'll pop right up for you. But you should have, as members, you should have already received the link. You can purchase a table, which would seat 8, or you can purchase a single ticket for $50 online on Eventbrite. You guys have any questions about that? All right, we need to get busy selling tickets and tables, all right? I expect everyone here to sell enough tickets to, or get enough people to come to fill up a table. It's my hopes. All right. That's it.
Ebony, what day did the email went out to the principals?
The email went out to the principals, Friday and Monday before, spring break. So some of them got 2 emails. And if their vice principal was a member of GAABSE, they got BCC'd, I believe, on the email. We didn't have that many, but we had some.
All right. Howdy, y'all. I'm sorry for these texts. That's just me. We are picking up again with our Twitter chats. I love Twitter chats because who doesn't love PD in your pajamas? You can sit at home on a Sunday, sipping on some Chardonnay in your pajamas. Let your kids run around, let your husband rub your feet, or your wife, whatever it is, and you can participate in our Twitter chat. So we're starting it at 7:30, normally at 7. I'm gonna give y'all some more time to get home from church, get your dinner together, get it together, sit down while you're watching The Real Housewives of Atlanta, because it's gonna be, I know, it's the reunion special. And join us as we talk about how we can make our digital practices culturally responsive. And guys, we have a special guest this time. We have Nicole Sanders-Taylor. I have that in right order. And if y'all have not met Nicole, she is a force to be reckoned with. She's on that. She does my job for GAABSE. She is all over the place at ed camps. She is a Google innovator. And so she's going to be joining us, and we're going to discuss on our campuses, what can we do with our digital practices so that we affect our students equally, and that we are making sure that that our practices respect our culture. So join in, and you know what? If you're not there at 7:30, the questions never go away. So if you answer them at 9:30, 8 a.m. in the morning, it's still a great thing, and you can connect with people from all over the district, from all over the state, with your answers. And if you just want to be a spectator and watch and get in there and grab some good information, that's great too. So Nicole and I will be going live on Sunday at 7:30, and you can just follow along with the GAABSE 1618. So say that with me, GAABSE 1618.
GAABSE 1618.
That is our Twitter. You do not have to be a Twitterer to join the Twitter chat, but it is a great resource for all of those who can't make it to meetings.
All right, so I'm going to just say these things. I'm going to give Danielle the floor to give you some additional information about the Youth Summit, because these are the exciting things that we have coming up. I just really want to point this out right here.
Volunteer.
Right here. So you always wonder, what is it that I can do in GAABSE besides come to the meeting? You can volunteer for our events. We have members that make an impact even when they're not present, okay? So a couple weeks ago, we were trying to gather vendors and sponsorships so that during TAPSE, people who went in to visit the vendors could receive prizes. Well, we have members who didn't even make it to TAPSE that was still able to contribute and make sure that GAABSE is represented and making sure to secure gift cards. So know that you can participate on many, many levels. So as we go through these opportunities for you to be a part, think about, how can I participate? How can I be the next CM of GAABSE and participate even if I can't be present? Okay. So we've got our Youth Summit that's coming up, the Goldilocks Awards. Participation in that is very simple. Welcome parents, students, this is where you sit. Here's a program. GAABSE shirt, bam. Simple enough. The Leadership Development Workshop, I'm real excited about that. Very excited. So know that ways for you to participate right here. Volunteer. All right, Danielle.
I thought you were gonna talk a little bit more about that.
Nope, you're gonna talk about that Youth Summit.
All right.
Our first one.
We are having our first annual Youth Summit, and we're really excited about it. It's going to be I was gonna say April 11th, May 11th. We know that it is Mother's Day weekend, the Saturday before Mother's Day, but we are hoping students bring their mothers because we will have a parent workshop in conjunction with the Youth Summit. So the Youth Summit will be Saturday, May 11th at North Garland High School. It will be for grades 8 through 12. We're still trying to, one of the things we're trying to work on is how students will register, and we have another conference call on Monday to solidify that. But just to kind of give you a brief overview, this Youth Summit will be from 9 to 11. We have 4 different parent sessions, and so each parent will be able to choose 2 sessions. And just to go over them, one is mental health and SEL, parenting and parent involvement. The next one is student athlete. This is like a duo session, so we'll have one for parents and one for students, as well as the SEL. And then another session that is conclusive of like the big acronyms that kids just don't know about, our parents don't know about, AP, MST, DC, you know, all those things, so that they understand what their students need to be doing and taking to get the most out of high school, to get them prepared for their future. We're going to also have 6 youth sessions. The students will be able to pick 2 sessions as well. Those sessions are student athlete. One is entrepreneurship. The next one is SEL, which we're going to focus on self-management and goal setting. Next session is leadership. Then the next session will be high school one-on-one. So this will be another dual session, but it'll be more geared towards the student, for them just to have that knowledge and understanding. Because one of the things that we were talking about last time on the conference call is a lot of times what happens is students are called down by their counselor to do their schedule. They don't know what to do. You know, they sit down and whatever, they're like, yes, okay, yeah, whatever you want me to do. And so they're just selecting these classes, and then they're doing it as either an 8th grade or a 9th grade. And by the time they get to their 11th and 12th grade year, and they're like, oh man, my GPA is not where it needs to be because they weren't taking the classes they need to take to get to where they're trying to go. And so we're going to have that session. And then also a college focus session. And in the college focus session, we do want to highlight HBCUs. We have an opening speaker and a closing speaker. Our opening speaker, I'm excited about both, and I'm excited about the opening speaker, and she's going to do a session as well. And it's Sydney Monday. She is a graduate of GISD, and I believe she went to, was it Howard? Sure. Howard University. And so she's going to do the opening session, and then Cherie Moffitt, she'll be doing the closing session. We are definitely in need of volunteers because there's just different committees that we'll need help with for everything. And so we'll be sending out that information. And if you have any questions, you can speak to any of the members of the committee, which is myself, Angela, Savoy, Babetta, and Stacia. And I think it's 2 more people, but I don't know who they are. I gotta think about it. I'm sorry. All right. But any questions, just let us know, or just send any executive board member an email, and we can definitely get the information out to you. So thank you. We are excited about it.
Yes. All right. How many of you have ever had where you wanted someone to be able to look at your resume and say, you know, if you change this wording, or if you listed this first, this would have it to where your resume gets pulled when they do that massive resume search, because they're searching for specific words to even look at your resume to get an interview. Okay. How many of you have ever wondered, why is it that I don't get an interview? How am I supposed to answer these questions and posture myself in an interview? Right. Okay. So we've all thought about that, because our goal is to continue to grow in education and find ways to serve students. And sometimes our service of students means that we need to be in a position to where we have a larger voice, larger impact. So GAABSE is here for you. We want to make sure that our members are prepared to be able to propel forward into whatever aspect of education you want to go. So we have Greenstone coming in to lead us in a leadership development workshop. We are paying for them to come for our members. We are paying for them to come. This is not a volunteer, this is a business. These are women that are focused on making sure that we have growth and development of leaders in education, okay? Because we are making this investment in you, we want to make sure that there is truly an interest and a desire and that people will be there. So April 13th is the date of the workshop. We're looking at a 3.5-hour workshop. So it's going to be from 10 to 1:30-ish. Okay? How do I say this? It cannot be something that we have the intention of being a part of, but we actually aren't there. So I need everyone right now to save the date. I need you to make those calls and reach out to your friends who have always said, you know, I don't understand why I'm not getting this call back. I don't understand why I'm not getting the interview. Tell them to come out. It is free for all GAABSE members. It is free for all GAABSE members. Free, 99. Free 99 for all GAABSE members. So we really want you to be in attendance. And this is for all levels. You're a teacher, you're in administration, you're looking to move from administration to central office, all GAABSE members, okay? So this will also include the opportunity for GAABSE members to have personal coaching subscriptions at a discounted rate after the workshop. So this is not something that we've ever done before. You know, as a board, we believe you come big or go home. So on my way out the door, I said, well, let me make sure that we have some things in place for our membership. So I'm very, very, very excited. As an exec board, we have a planning session with the group that's coming in so that our leadership development workshop is personalized to us. They have already looked at the mission of GAABSE, they've looked at the mission of TABSE, and begun to focus on how they can help us to meet our goals. So save the date for that. All right, moving on.
What was the location?
So notice that was not confirmed. So, and the only reason why is because the workshop will cap at 25 people. But if we only get 10 people that respond back, then we want to have a smaller, intimate space than if we have 25. So that's why we haven't confirmed that yet, but we will. Okay, questions, comments, remarks?
Great job. Everybody, great job.
No, great job to this board. This board is amazing. All right, so in closing, the only thing that I can say is I got 3 more prizes that I'm gonna give away.